commission as Secretary of State will terminate at midnight, March the 31st.
Rex Tillerson fired as U.S. Secretary of State.
A mid-Missouri school district wants an armed officer on campus.
Plus, firefighters are still investigating the death of a Mexico, Missouri woman last night. KOMU News at 5 starts now.
A major shakeup in the Trump administration as the U.S. prepares to negotiate with North Korea. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Reek.
And I'm Emily Spain. President Trump fired Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. Tillerson, who had just returned from a trip to Africa, said he planned to stay in his position despite several policy disagreements with Trump. White House officials say Trump wants to have a new team in place as he negotiates with North Korea. Trump says he and Tillerson could not agree on how to handle relationships with multiple other countries.
We got along actually quite well, but we disagreed on things. When you look at the Iran deal, I think it's terrible. I guess he thought it was okay. I wanted to either break it or do something, and he felt a little bit differently.
Tillerson says he learned about his dismissal on Twitter. The CIA director will replace him. Tillerson wasn't the only State Department official to get fired today.
President Trump also ousted the Undersecretary of State, Stephen Goldstein. He was third in rank. The White House says he was fired for contradicting the Trump administration on how Tillerson learned of his dismissal. Goldstein says Tillerson learned about his firing on Twitter, but Trump says he and Tillerson had been discussing it for a while. A third firing after a longtime Trump aide is under investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. John McEntee was dismissed as an advisor and faces serious financial charges. Homeland Security hasn't said what those charges are. They do say they're not related to the president. Surprisingly, after being fired, he was named a senior advisor for Trump's 2020 campaign. Back in Missouri, Attorney General Josh Hawley began his Senate campaign today.
Hawley is challenging Democrat Claire McCaskill, who's held the seat since 2007. Hawley kicked off his campaign this morning with events in Kansas City, Springfield, and St. Louis. He's expected to win the Republican primary in August and then go up against McCaskill. Well, the way you spend your SNAP benefit money could soon be changing.
A bill circulating the House aims to further restrict where you can spend it. KOMU 8's Dallas Parker talked to lawmakers on both sides of the bill and is in the newsroom with what she was told.
A new bill could mean more restrictions for people in SNAP and EBT programs. Lawmakers in favor say they're protecting taxpayer dollars, but others say the idea hasn't been too well thought out. A new bill in circulation aims to stop TANF and SNAP recipients from getting money from ATMs with their EBT cards. The idea being to cut down on untraceable purchases. It also adds pornography to the current list of prohibited purchases.
Many of the recipients will have alternate ways of getting cash. There are work requirements to the TANF program, and they can get cash from that. There are charities, there are neighbors and friends who may help out. We're seeing nearly $20 million of taxpayer money go to these ATM withdrawals.
An opposing lawmaker says this will only hurt Missouri's low-income families.
That's going to keep folks from being able to do things like go to the laundromat. If they need money, the kids' clothes are dirty. You know, children don't like to go to school with dirty clothes. I was a school teacher for 24 years. I would have children that were actually put into in-school suspension because they didn't have a clean uniform.
The bill would also enforce consequences for people who purchase prohibited things with funds like alcohol and tobacco. If a person makes 3 prohibited purchases, they risk losing their benefits for 5 years. And speaking with Representative Jay Eggleston, he says the reasons like the ones Brown gave earlier are legitimate, but TANF recipients have to have other ways of attaining cash because they're required to work or seek employment when they're in the program. In the newsroom, Dallas Parker, KOMU 8 News.
Here's what's happening right now. A Columbia car crash has closed several streets in Columbia. We're going to tell you where that's at the corner of Paris Road and Vandiver Drive. Officials say it was a 9-car crash and 5 people were taken to the hospital. Police are still trying to figure out how it started. Police say they should have streets reopened in an hour or so. We'll have more information coming up at 6 o'clock. Jen.
Fire crews are still investigating a fatal fire that left an elderly mid-Missouri woman dead. KOMU 8's Namni Egwangwu is live at the scene. Namni, what have you learned so far?
Firefighters had to return to the victim's home earlier today to extinguish some last-minute flames in the house's attic. But neighbors say last night at around 11 p.m. they heard a series of loud pops, similar to that of thunder or gunshots. When they looked outside, they said they saw nothing but flames. The Mexico Public Safety Department says when they arrived last night, the victim's garage was completely engulfed in flames. The fire quickly spread, with one neighbor saying within minutes the house was completely burned.
It was just really hard to watch that happen, and you could see the panic out here. I know that her son was out here pacing the street, and I don't know, it was just extremely hard to see that happen, especially from that point of view, just right across the street from where I live.
Fire officials are still investigating the official cause of the fire. They have not yet released the name of the victim. Reporting live in Mexico, Namdi Agwanwu, KOMU 8 News.
A 20-year-old man appeared in Boone County Court today. Cortavia Smith was arrested yesterday and charged today for endangering the welfare of a child in the first degree. KOMU 8's Kyrion Lee is here in the studio to tell us what prosecutors say led to the child's death.
6-month-old Cortavia Rogers was in the care of Smith, who is her father, when she went into cardiac arrest yesterday. I spoke with prosecuting attorney Daniel Knight, who is working to serve justice. This is 20-year-old Cortavia Smith, who is now in custody after the death of his 6-month-old child, Cortavia Rogers. In the probable cause statement, Smith said that he was having a dream and woke and found that he had kicked the infant, who was positioned at the foot of his bed. The defendant said that he noticed red marks on the infant's face. He explained that he sometimes has dreams that cause him to kick in his sleep. Smith drove to the infant's mother's workplace, where she tried performing CPR. 6-month-old Cortavia Rogers was in cardiac arrest. The infant was found to have bruising to her upper torso and head. Boone County prosecuting attorney Dan Knight requested Smith's bond be set at $500,000 cash only.
Degree, and that's a Class B felony, and the punishment is up to 7 years in the penitentiary. And we've alleged that the defendant knowingly acted in a manner that created a substantial risk to the life, body, and health of Cortavia Rogers, a child who is less than 17 years of age.
Knight said he wants justice to be served.
I want justice, just like in any other case. This is a terrible tragedy here. It's a heartbreaking case. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that no stones are left unturned as we investigate this case.
The autopsy took place today. Smith's initial arraignment is set for tomorrow afternoon. Depending on the charges, Smith could face up to anywhere from 7 years to life in penitentiary. He's being held on a $500,000 bond.
Well, it wasn't quite as warm in mid-Missouri today as it was yesterday. People were bundled up out there walking around the state capitol. Today, let's send it over to Tim to see if it will warm up anytime soon. Hey, Tim.
Yeah, it will start to warm up thanks to this large ridge in the jet stream. This continues to fill up with warmer and warmer air, and as it slowly starts to move off toward the east, it'll start to pick up more of a southerly wind component. That happens tomorrow, so the big warm up starts tomorrow. We've been mainly dominated by a north to northwest wind. Temperatures still got up to about 50 in a few spots. A little cooler than yesterday, though. Right now we're at 48 in Columbia, 49 in Jefferson City. Couple of 50s out towards our west and southwest. That wind will be with us tomorrow, and it could be a little breezy at times too for tomorrow. That evening planner looks like this. Temperatures here through the rest of the evening will drop back into the upper 30s for your evening hours. A little chilly outside, but by tomorrow it could be a little cold. I'll be talking about that, plus some weekend rain chances popping up in that forecast. That will be previewed here in just a couple of minutes.
Tim, thank you very much. An agreement based on mid-Missouri geography will mean an armed officer on campus.
Plus, students nationwide walking out of class tomorrow, including here in mid-Missouri. Why they're taking a stand, that's coming up.
And you're taking a live look over Jefferson City on this Tuesday afternoon, a sunny day. It's 5:08. This is KOMU 8 News, First at 5. Coverage you can count on.
All right, welcome back. Here's a look over the Lake of the Ozarks this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Temperatures outside are a little warmer than it was earlier this afternoon thanks to that sunshine, but it was a chillier day, and temps only got into the upper 40s. Right now we're at 48 in Columbia. A little dry outside. Relative humidity, 27%. It's a very dry atmosphere. Winds are out of the northwest at up to 25 miles per hour in a few spots. That feel-like temperature, the wind chills, down near 41 at this time. So it has been a chilly day, and it gets chilly again tonight. Here's a look at our wind chills into tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. As you're heading out the door again, most of our numbers will be anywhere from about 20 to 25 degrees as you start out Wednesday morning. The good news is we get a lot of sunshine, high pressure right overhead, and it's keeping a hold over the Midwest. That gives us a lot of sunshine and the open skies. That'll continue to warm up. Each day fills up with warmer and warmer air. And by tomorrow, we're out of more of the south and southwest with that weather, with that wind pattern. So we're warming up. 50s tomorrow, 60s on Thursday. We're going to feature a lot of sunshine too. Breezy winds though. Some of these winds could start to top out in the 30-mile-per-hour range both tomorrow and for Thursday. Into the weekend, a little cooler. Temperatures in the 40s, maybe up to near 50 on Friday, and a little cooler on Saturday. Rain is very likely on Friday. And we could even see some thunderstorms pop up in that forecast Sunday and Monday for late this weekend, early next week. It's several days away, but we are hinting into a little bit of maybe some of that wintry precipitation back in the forecast for Friday night and Saturday morning. The ground is still very warm, just like we saw on Sunday. A lot of the snow that would fall potentially would just melt on the ground. That's what it's looking like right now for Friday night. It's a very tranquil pattern here, at least through Thursday, and then here comes our next system out from the south and west. A stationary boundary is going to cut northern Missouri and southern Missouri in half. Colder up over northern Missouri, air cold enough for snow. South of this boundary that sets up, it'll be warm enough for maybe a couple of thunder showers early in the day on Friday. Eventually, this will start to sink back down to the south. And so Saturday night or Friday night and into Saturday morning, we could see a few snowflakes pop up back in that forecast early Saturday morning. That one's to clear up Saturday throughout the day. And eventually, we're just mainly dry. Here's the timeline for this. Very likely opportunities for rain on Friday morning. That'll taper off throughout the day. More slight chances for us at best. And then there's that time frame for us. Friday night through early Saturday morning could have an early chance for a few of those snow flurries in the forecast. The best opportunity is going to be over northern Missouri. It'll be dry for the rest of the weekend up until about Sunday night. Then we could be featuring some thunder showers in that forecast for Sunday and for Monday. Your forecast for tonight, and it looks like this. It's a chilly night up ahead for us. Temperatures starting to trend back into the 30s for this evening. Temperatures tonight will drop to 24 degrees. However, more sunshine's in the forecast for tomorrow. A little warmer outside. High temperatures up near 45 degrees. Your forecast through the rest of this week and into the weekend looks a little bit warmer, at least for Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures will be up near 65 on Thursday, but it'll be breezy, and then it'll be cold over the weekend. 49 on Friday, 48 on Saturday, back into the 50s for Sunday and Monday of next week.
Tim, thank you very much. A small mid-Missouri school district pushes for an armed guard on campus.
Welcome back. Callaway County approved its first school resource officer to work in schools within the district. KOMU 8's Lydia Nussbaum is in the studio to tell us which district is adding that officer.
The South Callaway R2 district will have an armed school resource officer in its schools starting in August, saying they want more security. The Callaway County Sheriff's Department and school district superintendent say this decision is not a knee-jerk reaction to the Florida shooting, but that they have been talking about adding an officer for nearly a year.
It's an 18-minute drive from the Callaway County Sheriff's Department to the South Callaway R2 school district, which is why the school district will soon add a school resource officer.
It puts an officer in a good area down there for us. It also gives us coverage in an area that's could be a delay for a response time.
The Callaway County Commission approved a contract Monday, allowing a school resource officer to work on the school district campus, which has 3 different school buildings.
The sign of the times are we need more security at our schools and wherever else there's public venues like that.
The Callaway County Sheriff's Department and superintendent of the school district do not just want the resource officer to act as muscle, but instead also be embedded into the school community.
We look forward to this being a staff member that the kids recognize very, very quickly, have a very good and positive relationship with it.
The superintendent says he will want students to know the resource officer is there to help them.
Other districts like the Moberly School District and Southern Boone School District have a school resource officer. Reporting in the studio, Lydia Nussbaum, KOMU 8 News.
Columbia schools are preparing for students to walk out. Tomorrow, students and teachers nationwide are planning a 17-minute walkout Wednesday. 17 minutes will honor the 17 victims of the Florida high school shooting. The event will call for a ban on assault weapons as well as stronger background checks. Tonight on KOMU 8 News at 6, how Rockbridge High School is preparing for tomorrow's walkout. State prosecutors will seek the death penalty against the Florida school shooter. He's scheduled for a formal arraignment tomorrow. It's a 34-count indictment including 17 first-degree murder charges. His attorney said he will plead guilty if the prosecutors do not pursue the death penalty.
Why more kids visiting the emergency room for allergic reactions might not be a bad thing.
From here on Capitol Hill, we'll preview the president's State of the Union speech and tell you what to look for in the crowd, the other messages of the night. Also, our Richard Engel with a personal story about his son, a rare syndrome, and now hope. Tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Welcome back in your health news. A new study says more children are going to the ER for allergic reactions. According to the Blue Cross Association, those visits are up 150% in the last 5 years. Nearly half of those allergic reactions were from foods, especially peanuts. Experts say the increase is partially because parents have gotten better about recognizing the symptoms and getting to the ER faster. The U.S. spends almost twice as much on health care as other wealthy nations. The difference, according to a new Harvard study, is higher prices. Doctors in the U.S. earn twice the average salary than their peers in 10 other high-income countries. Americans also pay the most for prescription drugs and other medical devices. An expensive surgery is usually needed to look into a patient's heart to find life-threatening abnormal heartbeats. But doctors say they found a cheaper, simpler solution. It's called a cardio Insight, which is a vest that makes a 3D map of a patient's heart. Doctors say more tests are needed, but it could be widely available in the next couple of years. Health officials say a group of dentists have died from a mysterious lung disease. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found 9 dentists in Virginia to have idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis since 2010. IBF is a chronic disease without a known cause. Past research suggested the closest link to the disease was smoke inhalation, but the center says it will now look into possible links to dentistry.
A final check of your forecast and an update on a really big Columbia car crash. A Columbia car crash closes several streets and sends many to the hospital. KOMU8's Chelsea Haynes is live on the scene with the latest information. Chelsea.
I'm here live at the corner of Vanderver Drive and Paris Road, where officials are cleaning up the remains of a 9-car pileup. 5 people were taken to the hospital. I spoke with Assistant Fire Chief Jerry Jenkins. He said no one had life-threatening injuries. Police were out here with cameras. They're trying to figure out exactly what happened. Hopefully we'll have more details for you at 6 o'clock. But for now, reporting live in Columbia, Chelsea Haynes, KOMU 8 News.
Now here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News at 6 o'clock. A nearby school announced that they received a $3 million donation today.
How the donation will be spent, that's coming up at 6 o'clock. Tim.
And with those traffic updates, remember you can get those live conditions for both weather and traffic on the KOMU 8 Weather and Traffic app. Live traffic has a lot of slowdowns in Columbia this afternoon. It's a little chilly this afternoon, too. Sunsets around 7:15 this evening. Your evening temperature out near 26 by tomorrow morning. So it'll be a cold start, warmer into both Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures around 50s and 60s. Then we have some rain for the weekend and possibly some snow showers back in that forecast Friday night and Saturday. Good news is the ground temps are going to be too warm for any accumulation.
Okay.
Spring is near.
It is near.
6 days?
It's trying to.
5 days?
6 days now.
6 days? All right.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.